fellow Star Trek fans. Welcome back to another special episode of the Clonestar podcast. I am your host, Mike Overton, and of course, joining me in the co-host seat this week is my wonderful friend, Jodi Pickens. Jodi, how are you doing this week?
Doing great, Mike.
Awesome. Now, we had the incredible opportunity to talk to the wonderful Humberly González, who plays Melle, the Deltan in Star Trek 31. Now, because time was short, let's get into it. Humberly, did you grow up a Star Trek fan?
I did not. I I also grew up in like a different language, and I know that it had like a different name. I think it's Viaje a las Estrellas, which means like traveling to the stars, which makes sense. Trek to trek to the stars. Yeah, las Estrellas. But I didn't know that it was some of my friends who are older than me who probably were exposed to it back home in Venezuela. That actually grew up with it, but it was never a part of like my vicinity. I do remember being older, and when I learned English, in the sci-fi world, like I remember Spock. I remember like the Live Long and Prosper and the Vulcan salute, like things like that, that I was like, oh yeah, that is a world. My interest obviously spiked when, I moved to Toronto, and obviously they shoot Star Trek here a lot.
Yep.
And I had auditioned for it before. So my research started quite a few years back, maybe 6 years ago, when I was first auditioning for Strange New Worlds. And I was just curious with like the whole thing. I had friends who were in the show, and I had seen a few episodes here and there. I saw some of Discovery and like obviously Michelle's character and things like that. And I was like, that's cool. They had a lot of people of color. Like I love how inclusive it is.
Yeah.
It's such a great world. I'm like, why can't our world be Star Trek?
We ask that every day of the week.
Every day.
Yeah, right?
Every day.
Especially Jodi at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being in the States is not a good vibe, really, right now. So
I understand. I'm over here in Canada, but I empathize. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
We're going to glaze over that subject very quickly.
Just move on, because that's another time. I wanted to ask, so not having much background with Trek, what was it like taking on a role for a Trek movie?
I know. I mean, it was exciting just because, all you get when you audition is a script. And man, but that script, we worked it so many times. I mean, I think I had like 4 callbacks or something like that. Working just with the relationship, the tone, how much movement, what lack of movement. I also knew that my character was really going to come out the second I was bald, because that is not something I can really act out. And feel the restriction, the boundaries around it, the outfit, the dress, like the fact that she's a fighter and she's doing combat in a dress, in heels. I obviously was really curious about Deltans themselves. Like I saw that Princess Brata was the first iteration of it. She actually shaved her head. And I was like, look, Miss India, like that's wild. It's such a beautiful commitment to the craft that she's literally like a miss.
Hang on, did you not shave your head for that?
Otherwise, I just have magical powers that like grew this head of hair out of nowhere.
So your hair grew back really quickly.
And I'm like, because my hair was actually really long when I started the movie, and we chopped it probably to where it is now. But my hair is usually,
Oh, okay.
It's very long usually, and we did chop it for the film so that it could fit better under the bald cap. But I was just inspired. I was so excited that I got to play a Deltan, because I know that they haven't been around for so long. I was doing research on that. Fans have been probably wanting that. And they're like, oh my God, it's been like 40 years. We haven't seen another Deltan. How exciting, to get to kind of bring her back. And it's another brown girl. I'm not a miss, but, we just did it like in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you hope audiences enjoy most about the movie and your character?
Ooh. Well, with Mel specifically, she's here for a good time, not a long time, and that's all right. I really do feel like it was still so impactful, and that's kind of the feedback I've been getting from fans, that they really felt like, the screen came to life, and there was just like this different flavor and different thing. And I'm so proud that the team really also leaned into her being Latina and me bringing my roots and my language and my accent to it all. That made me really proud. So I hope that people feel seen and represented in that role, that there can be Latinos in space and have an accent, have a different sound. I mean, I think that's what Star Trek stands for. That's the inclusivity of all of that. We have 2 Black leading men in the movie. We have Michelle. We have so much diversity. And that, for me, when I first, did the first Zoom read with everybody, I was like, it is so beautiful to see like a representation of the world. But beyond that, I hope that the story is impactful in the way that, even if this is the first and only iteration of Section 31, we hope that there'll always be more. Obviously, it ends in a cliffhanger and there could always be more missions. That they enjoy the banter and the relationships that we built on and off screen. I think that really made the movie what it is, because it's so rare you find yourself in a cast that really bonds from the get-go, and we really played off each other. And I hope that joy and play just is highlighted on the screen with the comedy. Like, I just really hope that people allow themselves the chance to just laugh and enjoy themselves watching something that isn't just action or just fight or just, I think there's a lightness to it that's really fun, which makes it easy to watch over and over.
Yeah. So your character, I feel, leaves audiences wanting to know more about them, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that's a good thing.
That's always a good thing. I'm like, listen, you never know what can happen. You never know. But
as we always say, never say never.
They're like, oh, if you want more Melle. Imagine if like she's just gone and they're like, oh, thank God, we don't need that. Like, then I would be like,
yeah, no. That's not the case, I assure you. But you did talk about the camaraderie you had, and so I'm wondering, like, what was the atmosphere like on set?
So great, honestly. Everybody really clicked individually and as a group all the time. I mean, we all always had lunch together. We hung out at set all the time. We went for dinners. We went to karaoke. Some of us went to like hockey games, and we would always just check in. We always had a group chat, and everybody was always like, hey, what's everyone up to? Like, I'm going to dinner if you want to come, or like, I'm doing this if you want to see it. And even now, till this day, our group chat is going strong. We still say, Happy New Year's and birthdays and all of that. It's really nice to have support in an industry where like everybody lives kind of all over the place, but to be supportive and then to do that on screen as well, that, when you throw something at someone, they're not just going to block it. They really take it and then give it right back to you. And that felt, that was the feeling on set, that when someone took a risk or improvised something, you weren't just going to be like, oh, sorry, that wasn't on the script. It's like they really lean into the play. That was very apparent. Even, a lot of stuff made it in the movie that was like just improvised and just like a natural moment. I'm glad that they did, because I mean, you can't write that. Literally, I'm like, it just happens who you bring to the character. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a testament to family, because Star Trek is really essentially that. And I think we see that for not only on screen, but for the actors off screen too. So that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Humberly, do you have a specific memory of working on the movie that you could share?
Oh my gosh, so many. I have so many moments of just, listen, we had a lot of time in between too, so we were always like eating and snacking. I am known for always saying yes to whatever substantial meal comes out, and I'm wearing a white dress that's very tight, and I'm moving around. People will be like, why are you eating all the time? And I'll always be like, who wants to go to Crafty? It's like 2 or 3 people going over to Crafty, like those little moments, watching each other at Video Village. Even after wrapping, like I wrapped earlier than everybody else, so I used to just always come to set and watch Video Village and support them and just be there. And it wasn't just me, like Casey came a lot. Who else came? Augusto came a lot. I think Omari was always there, and Rob might have come to visit towards the end too. But like the fact that we all just wanted to be there and not miss out, we wanted to be there for everybody's wraps so you could see like their speech and like just kind of be there for support. That's like a really beautiful thing to have in a cast. We listened to a lot of music and had dance parties. We did. We did. And that was really fun. I literally have videos of all of us just like dancing in our costumes, and that's really
Those are going on Instagram, right?
I'm gonna be like, hey guys, is it okay if I post this? We literally did a dance competition where everybody showed off like a move that they had, and I recorded everybody. It was really funny.
Oh yes. Yes. We
Yeah.
need to see that. That
Right?
just
Okay. Noted.
yeah. So, with your character being kind of limited on screen and in the story, what do you hope people get from your character and that performance and her role kind of in that beginning of the movie that is pretty an important time for that
Totally.
crew?
I mean, we started off with many and we kept getting picked off one by one. But
Yeah.
what's beautiful about Section 31 is that they all are so strong and independent in their own way.
Mm.
It's the teamwork that makes it all work. Everybody has a purpose, and they're also tied to each other, that we make each other better or enhance our skills in some way. I think it was pretty obvious, but we made that on set. I felt it too, that like Melle and Kwasi were very bonded. And it was this thing where they helped each other out every time, him being a cameloid and me being a Deltan, and like our powers didn't clash with each other. We actually trusted each other. We needed each other, and so when Melle leaves, it sends Kwasi on this thing, and you kind of see that. So every relationship has a bit of that. Even having Starfleet there, the purpose that what she got from being in kind of a rebellious group of everybody having autonomy, how that affected her, and then her realizing that, hey, maybe I do like chaos a little bit, and maybe it doesn't have to be so rigid. I think everybody has a purpose in that, and it was probably my favorite part of it. But for Melle, I mean, it was important for her, the way that she knew everybody so deeply. She's very observant and she speaks when it's necessary, but she's committed to what she knows she can do in that group, while also kind of ruffling some feathers. I think she gets bored easy, and she brings out a bit of levity to the situation, because I don't think she enjoys that everyone's so serious all the time. I'm like, this doesn't have to be so serious, you guys. Like, why don't you just like relax a little bit? Like, everybody in a group needs that. Just like, look, I know what I'm doing and I can be serious and I'm great at what I do, but also let's play a little bit. Let's push the envelope here a little bit. And she does come back in some way. I think it adds that to the group, that it's just a bit of a glue to each person. So we'll see what happens.
That's good. That's good.
So one last question for you then. How does it now feel to be part of the Star Trek universe?
So cool. I mean, it's something you dream about as an artist, to always be a part of something that's a legacy, a franchise that's been loved for so many years. And whether you're new to Star Trek or not, like, I'm a baby Trekkie and that's okay. But I've just gotten so much love and support. It's really cool to always transform into something that's completely separate from you. And I really enjoyed that experience. To say that I brought back a Deltan character after so many decades, like, it's just very special. It means a lot to me. I hope it means a lot to the fans. But yeah, for me, it's just an honor, and to be Latina and in space, like, why not? Yeah.
Thanks for tuning into this super special episode of the Clonestar podcast. Remember, you can catch up with more of us at our Patreon, patreon.com/Clonestar, where you can join for as little as $2 or euros or pounds a month. Remember, supporting us this way is the easiest and fastest way, and it also helps us keep all the lights on and helps us provide incredible content for you. But until next time, live long and prosper.